Hello, May 13th, Monday, time for a market review, and let's get straight to the charts. As we can see, the indexes sort of continue to run up. There is no divergence between them, the SPY, the QQQ, the DIA, all of them are sort of in tandem. And the MDY, that represents mid caps, is very alike, and IWM is lagging behind them. So it's a bit weaker. That means that the market tends to gravitate to the largest names, to the index type names, and there is no liquidity at the level of individual stocks yet. This also is confirmed by volatility. I don't know if the term oversold is applicable to this, but it was sort of oversold. It became too low, and now we see a spike in it. And we also see similar picture in rates. They retreated quite a bit, but now they are consolidating, as it is the case with the 10-year, and the 2-year even tends to creep up a bit. This also doesn't support the idea of aggressive buying in the stock at the level of individual stocks, because obviously these rates do not support the viability of equities right now. I think that the most likely scenario at this point, and actually the most favorable scenario too, is for the indexes is to spend some more time here, maybe this week and the first half of the next week, and we should be able to see if the liquidity, if institutional liquidity will really want to go stock picking at this moment, because right now there are not so many. Well, there are tradable setups, but there is no follow through on most of them. At best, stocks tend to stay where they stay, where they were during the previous week or weeks, and at worst they do something like this. This is a good name to conduct a bit of trade review, because this was supposed to be one of the better names in this market. Of course, it's speculative because it's biotech, but you don't find this kind of strength very often. It moved up from 23, 24 bucks per share, and now at peak it was 99. Very nice price picture, but completely no follow through. And there are a couple of observations to derive from this trade. I was here and I was stopped out. I was stopped out on Friday around these levels. So at the level of market as a whole, of course, it signals us the same notion of lack of institutional support for speculative names, for more actively traded names. And on more personal level, it's another opportunity to assess and adjust personal risk tolerance levels, because my personal journey shows that I'm most comfortable with the strictest levels of risk control possible. And in William O'Neill type trading, we are supposed to be limiting our maximum stop loss at 8. Well, I think that if we perceive stop loss as a way to assess the viability of a setup, in this particular trade, for me personally, there was no need to wait for it to be triggered. Actually, the most comfortable type of trades, once again, for me personally, is when it is working right from the start. If you are not green at the end of the day or maybe the next day, I think it's best to get out. And you can always get back in the next day or 2 or 3. This is my bit of reflection on this trade. And apart from that, I'm not going to be showing my positions, obviously, but we could take a look maybe at ALAB, very indicative of this market. You see, in the good market, good reports are excellent reports, and bad reports are good reports. And this is a reaction, this is earning reaction right here. So it wasn't supposed to go down. It wasn't supposed to retreat here, because good markets are markets when where and when money are chasing stocks. This is obviously not the case here, but the fact that it wasn't obliterated here is a good fact, and I think it's not over. It's far from over for this stock, and it is obviously worth keeping in a watch list. Another idea, or maybe just a name to watch, is Reddit. Of course, it could be, I had some of it, but I decided not to go into earnings, and I was spared of this volatility, and now it's sort of ripping back up. But there is obvious power here. There is obvious formidable demand. So I think as the market overall improves, maybe in the coming weeks, this situation, there could be additional viable situations in this name. Obviously, one of the leading stocks, and a new listing, which is important too. I think we also should look at NVDA here, just to illustrate this type of the market. This is where liquidity is going right now, and it looks quite well actually. There was this run up, then some profit taking. Now volatility is sort of contracting near the highs, and it could be the case that all the necessary selling has been done, and actually any day right now the buyers could be back in control and it could just go. These stocks, they can go like that for months, years, sometimes even decades. I don't know, maybe these days it's hard to create new Nifty 50 like Xerox, Polaroid, and other companies of the initial tech wave back in the 20th century. But NVIDIA could be one of these names for this century. So definitely worth keeping in the watch list right now. What else? What else should we mention? Actually, yeah, another idea that could be worth taking a look is Pure Storage. I should mention that here I have a position, but looks nice too. And apart from that, I think that's it. That's it for stocks. So to summarize the stock part, we've seen a run up in indexes. Right now, it is limited mostly to indexes and their components. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the stock market as a whole is completely forgotten. There are signs of accumulation. There are signs of interest sort of behind the veil of volatility at the level of individual stocks. For example, Reddit. Reddit is a good example of this. But we seem to want to spend a bit more time in this state, just to make sure if it is for real, to make sure if the supply will be absorbed by institutional buyers. And this could take a week or two, in my view. And let's take a look at cryptos. I think that cryptos will create another buying opportunity, maybe sooner than later, because the hype is sort of waning out a bit when it comes to IBIT. And it may be even reasonable to take a look here as a sort of low cheat buy here in this price structure in BTC, because there is this low, and we see that the price tends to respect it. We see the shakeout below this level, and overall shakeouts like these, they tend to make the price pictures better. So it could be maybe the low if we expect it to go back up, maybe consolidate a bit and go to proceed to the upside. These thick green line is previous cycle absolute highs, so there could be an interesting setup in the making here. With that, I conclude my review. Stay tuned.